Hello, welcome back to DG360. We had a really important Star Citizen Live with a lot of questions from the community that needed some answers, and I'm glad that it was that Jared went over them. And I'm going to go over the answers with you as well, because these were questions that were kind of etched in the back of our minds. We're wondering what was going to happen. Without further ado, let's go over some of the questions from the community here. The first one was wondering about calling all devs, like, you know, what the format's going to be, how long are the videos going to be, and they didn't know. They really didn't give any answer. They said, you know, we're not quite sure what the format's going to be, the purpose, and we're not quite sure how we're going to title them. We're not sure the length, and stay tuned. So, but we do know this. I liked calling all devs. I'm glad it's coming back. I do like Star Citizen Live as well, but Star Citizen Live was too intensive. They wanted to cut back. They didn't want to take an hour chunk of time of the developers that were needed for the Star Citizen Live. So I can guarantee you that calling all devs is going to be condensed. It's going to be like Noobifier format. They're going to fire the info out, and I think they'll be short. My personal opinion. Next question. It seems SSOCS had a good impact on AI. However, this impact seems to revert as servers stay online. Is this an SSOCS issue or something else? Now, the answer to this was interesting. They said server-side issues. The servers still aren't performing at a level at which is desired. They aren't happy with it. For the first release, which was already hurried, there wasn't as much of an improvement. So they're indicating that this release was hurried, which was interesting. There wasn't as much of an improvement as we would have wanted. As we see more releases come by, we should see more desirable performances. So basically that tells me that they felt like they were rushed with the implementation of SSOCS in 3.8, probably something that they promised during CitizenCon as kind of like a bonus to people. So they were like, ooh, wow. But yet it was too hurried. So they need more work on it. They said the purpose of putting this tech onto the servers now rather than later is to test out the features on a true live environment rather than manufactured internal testing. This is being working on. This is being worked on right now, and is trying to be implemented as fast as possible. If not 3.8.1, then 3.9. So pretty interesting info right there. The next question: how satisfied are you with SSOCS as currently implemented? Well, okay, half and half, they said, so 50-50. Of course, the improvements of SSOCS are welcome, but there's plenty more features that were either supposed to be included or not yet finished, which are going to increase performance further. As the tech matures, it'll improve, but for what we have right now, it's satisfactory. There are still plenty of issues that we know need to be fixed, but having this large stepstone past us is beneficial for further development. That just tells me that really it's in its infancy stages here. SSOCS is here. We do see improved AI performance. However, it doesn't feel like they're anywhere close to being happy with it, and that there is plenty of work to be done with SSOCS right now. The third question: players are finding that auto gimbal is the clear choice for all encounters. Now, we had a video on the channel about this in length. We talked about this with the community. This question I found very pertinent. Will fixed weapons be improved? This is one of the questions in our community. I was glad that was put there. It was nice as it came from one of our own members, I believe. It says, we've created a team specifically for these issues to improve our combat gameplay experiences. Turrets, gunplay, components, combat will all be looked at in order to bring us our final balance to make the game feel fun. Good answer. Dig it. They're working on it. Again, this tends to be the theme. We're working on it. This isn't some brand new team hired on. He also wanted to express it's just a group of people being labeled as such, made of people already on. So these are people that have been working on the issue for a long time. We've talked about this on the channel, and the flight mechanics team has been on this from the very beginning with all the issues with hover mode, all these, hover modes here, hover modes gone. These are things that this team has been working on for at least a good 2 years. Surprisingly taking a longer time than I would think, in my opinion. Question 4. Do ship upgrades actually do anything? Yes, components are already built to have differences amongst themselves. The issue right now is having some way to compare these components in game. That's a huge issue. That's a huge issue. Yes. Question 5. Can we get clarification about platform persistence? Wipes still happen, is what they're telling us, depending on how players earn money. And that's going to, I think really the wipes are always going to happen. But I think what we're talking about is persistence, at least in credits, would be nice. And we've talked about that for quite some time. And I think we'll get that once the accountancy app comes online. I think that's scheduled for 4.0. I could be wrong. Depending on how players earn money for a patch or how items are obtained, we would need to prioritize a wipe. And they're saying that because of exploits, unbalanced methods, and other issues. Instead of needing to wipe every patch, we can now choose to wipe. Now that's a great improvement. That is pretty cool to hear that. We can use this platform persistence in order to test our long-term pricing balancing, aka a giant ship we'd want to see take 6 months to earn should take these 6 months, and now we can see that. So they're able to see basically how long it takes for people to acquire certain ships that are valued higher than others. I really want to see this value fluctuate, and hopefully we will see a more dynamic economy. But again, we are a very infancy of economy right now, so I'm not going to worry about that much too at this point in time. Question 6, 30K errors. Who, what, where, why? And the answer was, can either be server crashes or the client disconnecting from the server. It's a catch-all for a bunch of disconnects. It's here to stay. Now that just bums me out. That just bums me out. It's basically server stability issues, at least from what I'm reading of the answer. Very vague. Very, very vague on that answer. Question 7, will we see QL for 3.8 or just ship content? So the answer is for 3.8.1, yes. But for further content patches from there, we don't want to take too much time from our development teams. Feature lock dates are now far sooner, mid-February for 3.9. To get patches out more consistently, so they don't want to push those teams to create patches for an already released build. They'd rather have those fixes pushed to the following quarterly patch. A fix in 3.8, but its end of February would be moved to 3.9 rather than a hot fix 3.8.123 patch. So there is some nuance to the strictness to the new cutoff dates, but they're trying to be more far more strict than ever in deciding a feature. And the example is the NFZ rework basically being finished, but very laggy. And there's no time to truly test the new feature. So it's cut off for the next patch 3.9 and not 3.8.1. So, Question 8, are you testing the economy right now? The answer basically is yes. We're reviewing the telemetry in order to properly balance the universe. Right now, balancing has to be done by hand. That's exactly what we were thinking. We were thinking that that's what they were doing, plugging in basically values in by hand on a spreadsheet. So that's interesting confirmation. But when the Quanta dynamic economy stuff comes in, that's a little bit of an understatement. Let's refer to that as something that is more than just stuff. Like this is going to be an amazing component that's going to be added to the game. So when this comes online, it should be like night and day. We'll know it. So he says when the Quanta dynamic economy stuff comes in, we can have far less intervention. Stuff feeling grindy is both the point of some things and against some others. How the stuff is balanced is not yet complete, so they're not really letting on to much. And hopefully that the Quanta dynamic economy stuff is more than just stuff at the point when they insert this into the game, so that we don't have a mess. So question 9, Aaron, Halo asteroid belt sucks. Can we have more asteroids to make it worth it for large scale mining? People really want larger belts. And the answer was yes. Our feature team is currently working on this. 3.9 will see a lot of improvements to the mining profession. I'm glad to hear that. We're still figuring out looks of these fields, whether to be accurate to movies, dense, or to life very sparse, and where to lie in between. Personally, I think you should have some variation. That just makes sense. Harvests are looked at in a similar way. Feature teams are trying to use the very low scale features they've built now and slowly expand upon them. Mining head expansions being something coming from them. We all were very excited when the mole was introduced, and we did see the different types of effects in our Inside Star Citizen Live when they covered the mole, and we talked about that extensively. Question 10, how much should we do on a bug before filing a report? That's a good question. Depends on the bug. All information is valuable, so try and fill out to the best of your ability. Reproduction steps are extremely valuable. That makes sense. Entering a bug without them and reporting them is fine, but having the reproduction steps is key. They want to see the same thing happening over and over before anybody files a bug. So if it happens one time, it's not so important to them. If it's happening multiple times, then file it, guys. And then having that data is also very important for them. So, before reporting a bug, keep that in mind, guys. Seriously. Will we get any anti-stuck systems? They basically said they talked about this feature, but there's no movement in producing it. So I'm not quite sure exactly where they're getting at there. It sounds like they're not quite sure on what is causing the issue on that. And that they're not, it doesn't sound like they're doing anything there, really, is from the answers. Very vague on that. Question 12, ship duplication bug. What about the ship duplication bug? They're saying not diagnosed yet, whether it'll be server-side fix or a patch fix. Very, very vague. Q3, parasite ship internal vehicle spawning. It's planned for this year, wanted this year by Chris Roberts. Docking is considered, but internal ships, Pisces in the ship rather than Merlin or Constellation is more likely. Okay. Question 14, why no microtech spawning of vehicles or bases for missions? Not enough time, they're stating, to place these. They will be in for 3.9. I think we knew that already. I'm not quite sure. Some of these questions towards the end here, a little bit janky. Question 15, component comparison tool. We don't have a function to compare two components yet, nor do we have a full plan of doing this yet. Question 16, will there be a hotfix before 3.8.1? No. That I could have told you that. Question 17, how are you planning to improve cargo? Okay, this is an interesting question. Let's see what the answer to this is. We're looking at disconnections and other interferences from flying around that could interrupt trading missions and progression. Any information you have from encountering these bugs, please send them. So yes, especially those of us that are flying as traders, those of us with larger ships as well, please do that. Aspects from trading currently, such as people looking at external apps for trading, we want to get rid of. It's necessity and put those functions in game. Yes, that's cool. Now that's not great news for my friend Rave from Galactic Logistics that I use. Plug and shout out to my friend Rave, who runs Galactic Logistics, which is a wonderful trading site and much more than that. So it's interesting they want to put that in game. Perhaps talk to them, Rave, and say, hey, I've got the functions, and you can, maybe share some data with them and help them out. That would be really cool. To actually see that in the game would be fantastic for me. And, to see that there would be this really cool cooperation between the player base and those that work at Cloud Imperium would also be very cool. I say hi, Rave from Galactic Logistics. We want to expand the star map with these functions to better inform the player of trading information. We're not looking at only the bugs, but every pillar that holds up the mission's volatile cargo that has been managed will be a part of this expansion. So as far as cargo is concerned, they're looking at expanding features of cargo to make it better. They need to iCache first in order to expand these functionalities. iCache is scheduled for 4.0 through 4.1 internally. Question 19, reverse bounty hunting, criminals to take out. Oh my God. I think it's getting a little crazy though. I don't know if I'm down with that idea, the reverse bounty hunting idea, where pirates are actually getting contracts to go after bounty hunters. I don't think that's how that works. Like, I don't think pirates would give a damn about paying other pirates to take out bounty hunters. I think we're talking about a philosophical argument on this question here. The answer was not looked at, but willing to look at it in bounty hunting as a whole, as well as delivery missions to improve them. Let me know what you guys think down below. I've never even thought about that angle. That's interesting at the very least to me. But my mindset on it is that if you're a pirate, you don't give a shit anyway about other pirates. You're just running away from bounty hunters, and you're not willing to pay out of pocket to make contracts to kill bounty hunters coming after you. But I don't know. Question 20, UEC transfers. Yes, we want it. It'll be a function in the mobiGlas as part of the contract manager. And we talked about that with the massively overpowered article where they interviewed Josh, where he confirmed that. So we actually had confirmed that on the channel a long time ago. So the person who wrote out question 20 should be watching the channel here. Some back-end aspects need to be worked on first, but we know everyone wants it. mobiGlas is prioritized after the visor rework. Question 21, reselling loot. Yes, they say. We want players to loot dead players, NPCs. Awesome. Salvaging kind of being included into that as well. Question 22, turrets. Turrets are a known struggle we want to mitigate. That's what they're saying. The vehicle experience team was created specifically for tasks like this. Combat distances, missiles, projectiles with explosive impacts are not working due to desync, and turrets are all things being looked at. We want turrets to finally be done, but we know we're not there yet. There have been some improvements to turrets along the way. I can say that I'm glad to see that they're at where they're at, but I would like to see the work being done faster on turrets. Personally, my opinion. I think they're going too slow on it. Question 23: how can we expect to fly in low visible areas? You're going to have to deal with it, I would imagine, just like anybody else that flies in low visible areas. But here's the answer to that. We haven't talked about additional tools for flying in low visibility, but maybe brought up later. If it services gameplay, then it'll definitely be looked at or added. Having these low visible areas be impossible to fly in safely itself is a gameplay modifier that we like. So having something that works against it needs to encourage gameplay. I hope they don't go so easy mode that what is the point of weather effects, and what is the point? There's some really cool strategical advantages of having low visibility areas that will affect the way in which you fight. And if they start to mess with this, I think that's a really bad idea. That's my opinion on it. Question 24, new quantum drive stats working for you? We're reviewing the stats and stuff, trying to balance these out. That is very vague of an answer. They must have been getting tired towards the end here. Why can't we sell ore anywhere else? Stations and other places will have expanded ore terminals in the future. This will work into cargo. That's good to hear. Why can't we enter Habs? Currently, Habs are non-persistent, so there's some issues with having them be re-enterable. The fact that Habs are not persistent is not the best thing, considering the fact that as the game expands, these are going to be like our living quarters. So this is something that concerns me slightly, to see that maybe they're doing it now because we're in the test phase and they don't want the additional objects to load. I don't think that there's that well, if you count the amount of Habs, considering there might be enough additional objects to the point where they don't want to have to deal with additional load, but I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Question 27, why are NPC bounties lowered? They thought they paid too much, so they balanced them. Okay, well, that's just for the testing phase. Hopefully the economy plays into this somehow so that these guys aren't just going in and entering what they think should be the values. And, this is just something that makes me nervous when I see developers say stuff like that. At least it's towards the missions and not towards the items in the economy. And we know that's not what we're going to get in the economy anyway, once the Quanta comes online, as it were. And then question 28, why are there no windows in Habs and space stations? And they said right now it's because of performance and development reasons, which goes back to, I think, question 26, where they said currently Habs are non-persistent. So maybe I'm right on that. And that was it, guys. That was the end of the Star Citizen Live question and answer. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was very nice of them to, I think, bring back calling all devs. I'm looking forward to that. I think what you're going to find over time is that they're going to get rid of Star Citizen Live altogether. They're not going to do it for 2020. They stated that they're keeping Star Citizen Live and that Star Citizen Live will be bi-weekly now, so 2 times every month, and calling all devs will be interspaced between the Star Citizen Lives. But I think going into 2021, what you'll probably see is they'll scrap Star Citizen Live and they'll just bring calling all devs. And I don't know if I'm cool with that. Personally, I really like Star Citizen Live. I like to sit down and chill for that hour bit of time or even longer and look at the reactions and the facial features and how they're reacting to certain questions, because it gives you more kind of insight. And upon watching this Star Citizen Live, I thought to myself, they rushed 3.8 a bit for CitizenCon, and now they're playing catch up. So especially saw that with the SSOCS answers and being able to look at the reactions and see how they were talking and the tone in which they were talking about it. Seems like a lot of the features were really pushed in to make 3.8 the experience that we have now. We have some functionality and features within 3.8. Stability isn't as to the point where it was prior to 3.8. So I'm really looking forward to see what 3.9 will bring. But anyway, put your comments down below. Tell me about any worries or concerns you have. I thought that this would be a good video to inform all of you. I hope it helped, and I will see you guys on the next vid. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated. Thank you.